Okay, guys, today's video is like a continuation of the second week of fall camp practice for Alabama because there were some more interesting things and developments that I wanted to talk about, that I wanted to provide some analysis on, uh, and get your thoughts on, even in the comment section. So be prepared. But continuing on what I talked about in the previous video, Alabama had their first scrimmage last week of fall camp. And Saban, of course, is typical. He's like, the team isn't where he wants them to be. And I say, that's okay because with Nick Saban, the team is never where he wants them to be. So the fact that he keeps pushing and wants them to get better, that's always a good thing. But he did say this, very cryptic, but understandable for the veterans. He said the older guys played well. So people who've been in the program a little bit while probably have some experience and who know what to do. So that's always a good thing, meaning that if the older guys are playing well, usually that means that they're in a position to lead the younger guys to play well as well, to influence them to do what they need to do to be successful. Wow, I sound like Nick Saban when I say that. But anyway, also from the second week of fall camp, like toward the end here, they say the kicking game is really interesting here. So the punting was fantastic. That's what his exact words are, like fantastic. Uh, but field goals were shaky. And I say, oh, that's scary. That's really scary. A lot of Alabama fans are very, very weary of our kicking game over the past few years. We've had some struggles here and there. Um, and so to hear them say the field goal game was shaky, that may cause some fear in the hearts of some fans. But not me necessarily, but this is the reason why it concerns me more than usual. I've never actually been concerned with the kicking. This is the most concerned I've been about kicking because I thought they may not have been the best, but they did their job. But he said that they would miss some field goals and some were blocked, and he said that's not all on the kicker. And I'm like, that's scary. So that means the line, the snapper, the kicker, there's something going on there that's causing the kicking game not to be consistent, even in the setup, let alone the kicking. So interesting. But that's just with the kicking the field goals. The kickoffs and the kickoff returns were good, apparently. He said that was still good. But so yeah, field goal kicking, that'll be interesting. The reason why it's a little bit more concerning than usual this year is because we have a freshman kicker. Alabama does. Joseph Bulovas, who committed to Alabama after we lost the commitment from another kicker, kind of last minute. He came in. He's a true freshman. Just came in this summer. And then we also have Andy Papanastas, who was a backup kicker at Ole Miss, and he transferred to Alabama last year. He did some mop-up duty. He was serviceable, did his job, but apparently he hasn't been too solid this year. He's missed a couple field goals in the spring game. We'll see. So hopefully we won't have to rely on kicking too many field goals in general because we want to score touchdowns, but you still want your kicking game for the field goals to be solid. So that's something to look forward to. Fellow Alabama fans, would you prefer the freshman to go ahead and take the kicking job, or would you prefer the Ole Miss transfer Papanastas to do it? At this point, I don't know. I haven't seen him enough to make an assessment. But either way, moving on here. So with the running game, we got two backs get injured. They got injured for this past week. Josh Jacobs, who I really like. I wish he had gotten more touches last year, but I know he got hurt downstrip, so it kind of limited him a bit as the season wore on. He's a smaller guy, but man, I love watching him play. He can receive really well, probably the best receiving back out of any on the roster right now. He's also just shifty, perfect third down back, small, can really move. I just love Josh Jacobs. But he got hurt, and Najee Harris, the true freshman, also got hurt. They both have pulled hamstrings. Josh Jacobs is the more severe one. He will be out for a while. They don't know how long. Not necessarily like weeks and weeks and weeks, but they're taking it slow with him because they don't know how long it will take him to recover in terms of will he get back to fall camp, in a relatively quick time, or will it be long? Now, Najee Harris, his is less severe, and they expect him to be back, well, today actually. This was last week, remember. This is from the second week of fall camp. They expect him to come back today. I'll do some more research and find out if he actually did come back and it's not limited. But that's two hamstrings, Jacobs and Najee Harris, leaving Alabama with three scholarship running backs. which is really funny because I said it actually hurts the running back depth because now I bet we're missing B.J. Emmons, who transferred to go to another school now. I bet he wish he stayed now. Now, probably not because he still gets a chance to start wherever he goes, but that's that is really interesting that after he transfers, two guys go down with a poor hamstring. That's why they say you can never have enough running backs, which is why running backs should be happy to be in the backfield with a whole bunch of guys so you don't wear yourself out. Anyway, also toward the end of last week, Darius Cohen, he came back from his injury. You know, he was wearing a black non-contact jersey, but he was doing drills. You know, because he had a back injury that had been bothering him since high school, and it flared up on him um, over the past couple weeks. But he finally kind of it went away, and he's back to practicing and doing linebacker drills. So that's cool. Also, finally found out what happened to Ben Davis. I'm happy. I thought something happened to him, but he was with the outside linebackers in the line for them for their drills. He was a little bit further down though, so apparently they're moving Ben Davis to outside linebacker, or at least getting him some reps there in the meantime. And it's funny because when they were recruited, I would have thought that Mac Wilson would have been more of the outside linebacker and Ben Davis would have been more of the inside backer. But they're kind of flopping it here. But the line for who went first, it was Anthony Jennings, who was number 33. I really like Anthony Jennings. He's a strong, kind of compact guy who can really defend and run well and can provide some twitchiness as well. So I like Anthony Jennings. Then behind him is Christian Miller. I'd say he's probably the more twitchy. Uh, But when we have two outside linebackers on the field, you know, in a 3-4 defense, he will be one of the two on the field along with Jennings. So Jennings and Miller are the two starting outside linebackers, although we don't run that base 3-4 as much anymore. But when we do run it, probably against LSU, Florida State probably will see it a lot. Those two will be on the field. So I really like that. Christian Miller is more of a pass rusher. Another siren again. I swear sirens are always going by when I'm making a video. It's like they wait until I make a video to actually come by. I think that's the ambulance there. All right, now that it's gone by, I hope whoever that was is safe and nothing bad is going on. Uh, but yeah, Christian Miller's more of the typical pass rusher, and Anthony Jennings is more of the run stopper. And then behind them, directly behind them, the immediate backup is Terrell Hall. A lot of you remember him from the spring game when he used his long athletic frame to jump up and intercept Tua Tagovailoa and return it for a touchdown. That guy, he's just athletic, tall, and long, and he's number 24, I believe. So be on the lookout for Terrell Hall. I just look out for him. I think he's going to make an impact this year, and when he finally gets his chance to start, I bet he'll, man, I'm expecting big things from him. And also we have Mickey Brown, who was a true freshman last year. I think he redshirted because I don't think he played as much. And then Ben Davis is behind him. So if you're counting where he is in the drill in terms of if this is where the roster would be set up and how the depth chart would be, Ben Davis is technically, I guess, 1, 2, 3, 4. He's like fifth on the depth chart for outside linebacker. So he wouldn't even be the backups to come into the starters. He would be like the backup to the backup at the moment. So he's probably just taking a while developing there because he probably didn't play as much in high school, so he has to learn the position. But my question is, why isn't he developing at middle linebacker? I wonder if that's something that some of you may know. Do you know why Ben Davis did make this move, or why did the coaches feel they need to? And then actually, this is interesting too. The freshman after him, the two freshmen, Darius Coleman is after Ben Davis, and Christopher Allen is also. They're at the end of the line here. Makes sense because Coleman was injured. Christopher Allen's really new, so he has a lot to learn. But that is the outside linebacker drills. I really hadn't heard much about that this year, so it was good to actually see somebody talk about it. And then, of course, can't forget Jamie Mosley, who's also an outside linebacker. But he's in concussion protocol right now. He's number 16. He's in the Mosley and Terrell Hall. They're like probably the two most athletic, long, rangy, speed kind of outside linebacker pass rushing guys. But Mosley's hurt, and Hall's like making his way up the depth chart. So that is the outside linebacker situation there. Now moving on to the tight ends. Florida State fans, I know you have a lot of good tight ends, a lot of depth at the tight end position. Alabama does as well. A lot of guys are a bit more unproven though. We want to see more out of this group because we have so many. They're all tall, long, can block, pass catch. It's a deep unit. We just want to see more of them, which I believe we will now that we have Brian DeBull on the team, Dable on the team, he on the team. on the staff, and he really likes to use tight ends, as evidenced by his time with New England and what they like to do with their tight ends. But we have Hale Higgins, who's the starting tight end, who I believe is more of the blocking type. Although he can catch, he's more of the blocking type, so we put him on the line. Then we have Miller Forrestall, who caught some passes last year behind O.J. Howard, actually, and who showed off in the spring game a little bit with a few catches. He's a big, tall guy, too. I love the tall tight ends who can go up the seam and catch the ball. He's one of those guys. And behind him is Irv Smith, who caught a long pass in the spring game. He was able to catch the ball and turn up the field. He played a good bit last year, too. And then, of course, we have some redshirt freshmen, Major Tennyson and Kedrick James. Uh, there's some bodies here at the tight end position, and I think we'll be able to incorporate a lot of usage for them. Unfortunately, O.J. Howard didn't get a chance to perform in this offense, but I'm pretty sure they'll use him really well in the NFL. So, like I said, it's a deep unit here, and they have a lot of potential. So FSU, you know, don't be the only one thinking about your tight ends. We have some tight ends too. So also here's an interesting thing: the two freshman offensive tackles for Alabama from his past recruiting class, they've been impressing the coaching staff because at least on the second team, they've been pushing maybe for starting two on that right tackle spot. That's Jedrick Wills, 6'5", 315-pound freshman. He's been really working hard and really pushing for some playing time. And also Alex Leatherwood has consistently been at the second team right tackle spot from spring all the way up to now. So he's been consistent. He's behind Matt Womack. They're probably pushing Womack for that starting right tackle spot. So look out. Don't be surprised if Jedrick Wills or Leatherwood comes up and maybe even takes that starting spot from Matt Womack at right tackle. I don't believe they will, because I think Matt Womack's experience is like getting him ahead right now. He knows what to do, and that's like making him perform probably more consistently than they are. But it won't be out of nowhere if these two guys do take a starting spot there. From the Friday morning practice, again, the defensive line was led by Raekwon Davis, Deron Payne, and Deshaun Hand. So that looks like it will be the starting defensive line with Isaiah Buggs probably backing up one of those end spots. Also, here's some interesting things from the secondary. Minkah Fitzpatrick got some reps at the money position in the dime package of the defense. And like I said, he can play anything. He's like a Swiss Army knife. So it's funny, if you compare Derwin James and Minkah Fitzpatrick, they do kind of similar things in terms of being able to be used in various positions. Minkah, of course, is more playmaking, roaming. Alabama will leave him there, whereas Derwin James, they do move him around a bit. But they both have that like Swiss Army knife, we can play wherever you put us type ability. Minkah more so in the secondary. Derwin James moves around through all levels of the defense. But yeah, Minkah was playing at the money position in the dime package, which is like that 6 DB, kind of like that safety, linebacker, corner hybrid type thing that no one can really quantify or describe, I should say. But in that package, Deontay Thompson and Ronnie Harrison were the two safeties. And Hootie Jones wasn't one of them, which is really interesting, at least in that package, in that money package. I was wondering, are they just trying to get Deontay Thompson more reps, and did the media just only catch Minkah in this position now with Deontay Thompson and a starting in that safety spot? Or was that actually intentional, and have they been working Deontay Thompson getting some more first-team reps? Interesting to see. Not that big of a deal, because I believe Hootie Jones will be using his experience and plenty of experience in games to actually stay in a spot to be he probably will have the money roll in a dime package, but they're probably just trying to see who they can switch around and who gives the best chance in every formation. So that's just interesting. Also, the last thing here is that Tre'Darius Townsend got some exposure as a DB in practice on Friday as well, which is really interesting because he's been working as a wide receiver. But Tre'Darius Townsend is one of those freshman athletes who was playing receiver, and he was kind of last on the receiver depth chart in terms of like actually making an impact on can he play this year. So I'm assuming they're trying to cross train him a little bit to see if he can help out with some numbers there. So I thought that was interesting. But that's everything about the second week of fall campus that I had to follow up on from last week, because there's a whole bunch here. But those are just some of my thoughts on what's been happening. Alabama fans, What do you think about some of these things? What do you think about the outside linebacker drill? Ben Davis, the kicking situation, the running back injury situation. Although it doesn't seem like it's too serious, it's something I want to point out. But yeah, that's it for today. Leave some comments. Let me know what you think about some of these things and what you're looking forward to. What player are you looking to step up for? And FSU fans, if you have questions about the Alabama team or if you want to just talk something in the comment section, go ahead. I appreciate you viewing. I'll see you for the next video.